All right, let me turn on my camera. Let me just clean off my desk first. And then we'll get this show on the road. Alrighty. Well, welcome everybody to today's Lunch and Learn. I'll be your host, Jared, and if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, raise your hand, and I will be able to assist you as best I can. Unless if there's no one there and it's all by myself. That's fine. At least I'm not alone. I got Jeremy, Robert, and Will Clemens. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. I think we have Smith. Welcome to the call. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead, raise your hand, or type it in chat. I'll be more than happy to help you. We have two QR codes. One's for the support channel, and one's for the solutions marketplace. If you want to see how apps are built, those are some great resources to utilize. All right. You have permission to talk. How can I help you?
Hi. I think one of you helped me with the version 9, and we were able to import our project and stuff like that, import the code into the projects thing, and it started working again.
Mhm.
We did notice is that when we are migrating or when we do the export, right, from one environment to another, in our dev environment, it is at the project level, the import export, at least that is enabled at the highest level, at the project level. But in our QA environment, it is at the individual, like if you have some flows or something like that, different folders level, that
Sure.
button is highlighted there. The thing is, we wanted to understand if we did something wrong or that's how it's expected.
If it's like the action's gone, like
Unfortunately, I don't know how to share that thing and tell you. The action is there. We could import, we could export from our, dev
version
environment
9,
and
version
import it.
9.
Yes,
Okay.
version 9. This is version 9. We could export from our dev environment successfully, and the file, we got a file, and then we imported that in QA, and it imported successfully. So we are okay with that thing. The thing is, how we export in dev, it was not similar in QA. It's at a different level. Is That's something to do with how we set up the project. We try to set it up the same similar way.
Is Dev also in version 9, or is
Yes,
it
both are in version 9.
okay? Both are in version 9. So you're just trying to. So is there any repository between these two devices, or no?
There is, but we just did an import export. That's what we were trying, and it worked. There's nothing wrong in it. It's just that where we find that import export option is different, and both are version 9.
So is it just a question of why it was moved? Why the import
Yeah,
action was moved?
why is it different in our two places? If you want a snapshot, I can send you an email or something if that helps. It's not like top priority because we can import it and it's all working. It's just that
Mhm.
for our understanding this is just our first project in version 9. So we are
Uh-huh.
trying to understand if we need to do anything differently going forward. So why that we see this import export option in two different places. In dev, it's in one place. When I say one place, I mean like the folder structure wise. And in QA, it's in a slightly different place. So
Mhm.
I can send you a snapshot if that helps.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I'll put my email in the chat if you want to send it to me.
Sure, I will.
I won't display it on the screen just for uh security
Sure,
purposes.
I
But
can do that. I had another question. If anyone else is there, I can let them talk and then I can ask.
okay. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and ask it. And
Okay.
then I'll move on.
I also wanted to know about S3. So where can I find the S3? What we're trying to do is from the decision servers, I need to connect to an S3 bucket. So I
Okay.
wanted to know what is the best component to use and how we can, some of the things I need to keep in mind.
To an S3 bucket. I think don't we have a module you can connect to?
I don't know.
Let's see. I think there's a module. Hold on, let me find it.
Okay.
If we go to modules, I think there's like an Amazon AWS. And I
Yes, there should
believe
be.
if we install this will give us some. You can do the same thing in version 9.
Okay.
But I believe it has some steps for connecting to S3 buckets and things like that. As far as like what's the best practice of S3 buckets, that would be something like maybe on an Amazon, S3 bucket forum page or something. Not sure specifically on that end.
Okay.
The stuff for decisions is like, depends on how large the file is you're trying to store, but that's not really a Amazon limitation. That's just a file storage thing to be aware of. That if it's a really large file, you may want to handle it differently, utilize file reference or whatever file type we
Mm,
have to add it into the S3 bucket. So if I add the module, you go to integrations, we go to Amazon
okay.
AWS, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe we have S3, a whole category where you can create folders, get the client, list the objects, and all that stuff, and you can utilize
Okay.
these steps for it.
Okay, if I'm just trying some basic code, I
Mhm.
just use this and configure it according to what I have, the user ID, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure. Like,
Okay.
so if we grab over create folder, right? I'm sure it's going to ask us what the bucket is. You can do the controls here, and so ask for an external ID and a role, and then the region that's located. So, and this
Hmm.
stuff, I'm pretty sure all this will be found in AWS that you would add here,
Correct.
and
Hmm.
all this could be dynamic as well. So it doesn't have to be
Oh,
a static constant. You can get
how
this.
can I make it dynamic?
Just select from flow and then pick it from the flow.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
mean, there's other things too. Like if you know you're always going to use the same creds for, this infrastructure, you can create a system-wide constant by
Hmm.
going to designers and lookup lists and constants. And so I can say, hey, let's add a define constant. We'll say this is the S3. We'll call this like the
When,
S3 bucket. Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you. So
You're fine.
here, if I, you know, um, we'll have different environments like dev, QA, and prod kind of thing. Is there a variable when we are creating that is that local to us, or can decisions and can we set up an environment variable which we can pick and say this is dev, QA, prod, because our buckets would be different. That's why I was asking.
So yeah, you can change that. Like you would have you. So yeah, I think so. Basically, yeah, the buckets would be different based on your environment. So yeah,
Mm.
what you can do is so let's say let's say and the value is going to be like we'll do value, right? Value data. And then what you can do is if you can set this up on each of your environments, it can reference something different. Or if you export this and put it somewhere else, I don't think they get carried over. But what you
Okay.
can see here is now if I want to select, and I want to get my role, let's say, and I'm like, oh, hey, my role is going to be system constants, and I have my S3 bucket value data, right? And I can, connect it there. And
Okay.
then, and the reason why this is helpful is because if you change it in this one place, then everywhere that you reference it, it will be different. So this is why it's a
Okay.
kind of a
And but
helpful.
the constant, I cannot club three constants in one, three variables in one constant. It should be separate.
It should be separate.
Okay.
Um,
It cannot be like a config file where I can have everything in one and grab whatever by name.
I mean, you can add. So yeah, I don't think it can be the file data type. I would have to check, but
Okay.
that's just constants, lookup list flow. I mean, you could do it also with the lookup. Actually, that's not true. You could do it with the lookup list flow.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just pass out that object, and then when you look at the constants, you'll have another thing called like, this is your lookup list object, and then you could expand it and get to any different properties you want there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. I'll try this. Thank you.
My pleasure. Alrighty, who is next? Jawara, I know you came in. Do you have any questions? Let's see, we got one from Daryl. All right, I have a flow that loops through 1K records to run test case premium. When the debugger gets to the end of the data in the CSV, it should download a copy, but it stops on the last record and looks like it times out. Debugger still says it's running, but I have a clock symbol beside the flow in red. I'll allow you to talk, Daryl.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I've tested it a couple times. It looks like the flow is timing out. So it basically gives me a red clock symbol beside it, almost
Mm-hmm.
like flow error, but there's no errors in the flow. It
Mm-hmm.
actually is at the end of the data. So instead of completing the final loop through data and sending me a file download, it just stops. And it's done it 3 times. The debugger still says it's running. It's still green, it's still running, but
Mm-hmm.
the flow has a red symbol beside it, basically like almost like it timed out.
Talking about like on the bottom, I think I made know what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's at the like on the flow. It's the flow. It's went through 1,000 records, so it's got all the flows it's
Yeah,
went
this
through.
part where it says debugger stopped.
Yeah, that's green. But up
Mm-hmm.
top where your clock is green, mine's red.
Mm. So that means that an error happened somewhere, and it's trying to go through it.
Yeah.
Um.
And so I don't know the error because it's passing in a JSON into an actual a flow for an API call to calculate premium, and it
Mm-hmm.
does it 999 times. And on the last record, it just stops. And the JSON's solid. I've checked it, the format's right, and tested it in Postman, it works. So it
Mm-hmm.
should finish that last record off and complete the flow, but it stops every time.
If you have you ran a test case where it's like, hey, let's not import all of the records, or just import the last one and see if that error like reproduces?
I have not. I can do that. I can just try to run just the last row or that.
Yeah, because that will help us distinguish. Is it really something that, because we have two posing ideas here. It's a load. It's either it's a load thing, or, which I don't think it would be a load thing, or it's just more of there's something weird with that last entry that's causing it to error out. So that'd be the thing.
Well,
Like if you can run that quick test.
sure. Well, I will say, so this happened yesterday, and I removed the last entry and ran it again, and it happened with the entry above it. So but I could do it just singly by one entry, but it seems like when it gets to that last record, no matter what that record is, it's
Mhm.
doing the same thing. But yeah, I can test it. That's one.
Yeah, like just run it with just that last record. So then if that's the case, then it sounds like it's, it could be a load thing. What is
Yeah.
the step? How are you looping through it? Are you using like a run flows for list to for each loop, or?
Yeah, I have a basically I'm basically using a for each row CSV row, and I'm basically serializing some JSON and then saving it into objects and then passing those objects into a flow. And then I'm taking that JSON, the output, which is a string, and
Yeah.
I'm reserializing it. I'm deserializing, no, I'm serializing it back into a JSON and passing it into a back into the file. So basically, I'm building a list. So I'm basically just putting the outputs of all these successful calls into a file. And then I download that file at the end to say, here's your 1,000 calls, here's the inputs and the outputs. I'm passing in the input JSON, running it, and then putting it back in JSON format and storing it back into the CSV.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I'll run just the last case. And if that doesn't work, maybe I'll just pop open a support ticket because I wanted to.
Yeah.
It just won't download. Like it gets all the way to the end, started 3 times, and it's like it takes an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes to run through all of it, of course.
To run through all that, yeah, I would definitely put a support ticket because we're probably in the realm. You might want to use some like outcome caching and things like that to speed up the performance. But it sounds like there's just something. The issue just sounds like to me there's something weird in the like the flow design setup. Like there's something going on. I don't know if it's through the serialization or the deserialization process, but did you test that last record just yet?
Yeah, I'm actually doing it just right now.
Sure.
Hold on, give me just a second.
Yeah. Let us
And if
know.
someone else and then they come back, I can ping when it's ready, or either way.
Yeah. No, I can go. I think. Let's see. Let me go to the chat. Webinar chat. We'll go to the QA. There we go. There's one in the QA. Yes, alrighty. James, go right ahead. You have a question about the convert HTML to doc?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So what we're doing in one of our flows is we're taking a form, taking all the data from that form and putting it into an HTML merged text. And I'm bundling up that text so that I can attach it to an email as an attachment. That works fine. The only issue is that attachment name is, it just says something like merge to HTML. I mean, that's the name of the attachment. I can't get it to name the attachment what I want it to be.
Can't get
So
it
it
to
doesn't
name
look
the
fun.
attachment. So let me, is it just, I'm assuming there's like some send email step you have, right? And we have this HTML to Word
So the steps I
or
have involved, so if you want to kind of quickly, I have a text merge step that creates the HTML text.
like this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have a convert HTML to doc file step after that, which takes that HTML and converts it to a document. All right.
That one?
Yeah. Wait a minute. No, it doesn't look like that. It's got like a little square on it. What's it called? It's in the internal services method. Invoke. Huh. It's weird. It doesn't have a name on it. But it's called convert HTML to doc file. It's in the internal services in the, I guess.
Is it a file service?
Maybe.
If you can click on the step for me, and if you go to step information,
Right, that's what I'm on.
it should say like the category of it, of where it's located, and like the
The
service.
category is blank.
Oh, it's blank?
That
Wow.
category is blank. The
Wow, you
flow
must
step
have.
toolbox name is invoke internal services method step, and so is the flow step type. That's what's called. And it doesn't have a name like normally I would see the name of the step on here.
Okay.
I don't see it.
So I'm assuming just, and what's the output of that step? Like
The
I'm sure, like
output-
what's the input? It takes in a file name in HTML and then it outputs like a file data.
Yes, output the file data.
Okay, then I think I could use the step because
All right.
it would do the same thing. So if I have the file.
Maybe this step will allow you to. Oh, so that includes
Yeah, so I know I could pass in. So let's say I'm trying to think of simple HTML code. It's not really code, but all right. Can I make this?
Yeah, you can just do that.
Sure, let me just use this. And let me just add I'm probably just gonna add something so I know it is HTML. Obviously I know it is HTML. I just want to add like a BR or something just so I can easily say, okay, I have something different. All right, so I got that. We're gonna attach, so let's say I got the file name and I'll say this is constant, this is for James, and then I will constant this. And I'll paste this in here. So now we have our HTML. Or actually, oops, that's not what you did. You went through here, close this. We have a text merge. I create a new text merge. I can say this is test text merge.
Right.
And then I paste this here. And then I save. And then after I do that, and then I'm select from flow, grab the result string,
Right.
and sure, let me email myself. Or no, wait, oops, admin@decision.com to Jared, decision.com, test, build array, select from flow, doc file. So then if let's just debug and see what happens.
Mhm.
All right, so it's taking a little bit. All right, so let's see the input output took it. So for James, so it made the file. And input output. Okay, so let me go off screen. I will check my email. I should have gotten something.
Well, did you send it as an attachment though?
I think I did. Well,
Okay.
I don't even see the email. All right, so let's see. So I need to. Let's see if I can build this on another environment that I know is connected. Or actually, let me just change the email. admin.com. Let's see if I could send it to myself. I don't think that would work. Debug, it's gonna go through there. It sends it. We got it here. And then if I refresh my thing, I don't see. It's one of those things where I know like as soon as, oh, here we go.
Mhm.
It's found it. It came, all right. It's just in the spam folder. So if I download this file, so the problem is, if you go to my downloads, this file thing, let's see. I'm getting it so you can see it. So this is your file right here. It just says for James, but it's like no file extension.
Mm.
So let's do this.
And on your email, the attachment name was for James?
Yep,
Or was
it
attached?
was, yeah, it's called for James. I'm wondering if with this step you have to add the, should I just do docx? I wonder if I have to add the file extension. You probably do. All right, so then let me go back. But yes, on the attachment it says for James. Yep.
Okay. I will try that step and see if I can get it to work.
Yeah,
Maybe
there we go.
this is step I'm using.
It could be. What is the document you're trying to create? See, that's not what I want. So
No.
here's the, because
Yeah, if you
I'm
open up.
yeah, I'm gonna move it over so you can see. Because all it did is just, now it's a Word document. If I open
Right.
it,
Does it have all
it's just
your
the
full name?
HTML.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what the one I did, it does send it out formatted like I want it to, like the locals and the different fonts and
Mhm.
stuff like that, which is what I want.
Exactly. So that's why. So I'm not sure what that stuff is. HTML PDF, and it has to be a Word document. So why would
No,
it?
no, it can be a PDF. It can be anything.
It could be anything. I'm
And
just
this
what.
step here, it looks like it allows me to select.
Yeah, or I wonder if it's just a doc. Hold on, let me. So if we come merge tech as HTML, Here, let's do this. I want to try something different. I want to say, let's start eliminating steps. So let's do a constant here. And let's grab that text that I had, that HTML. Open this. No. I like how, okay, thank you.
James, I just want to, I'm kind of working on the side too, is Robert.
Mhm.
Are your email attachment is just named text merge every time? And are you
Mhm.
mapping that attachment directly from the output of that text merge?
Yeah.
Okay. Another option might be there's a step rename file. You can do file name and map it as the
Hey, I'm
oh,
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
got it. I say you can say you could the rename file, you can put in the file name, map it as that text merge output, and then for your new name, select from flow from the original file name, and it will rename it in between the two. And you can map that output as your attachment, and it will rename it for you
Yeah,
as
I'll
well.
try that.
Yeah,
Let me
it's
see.
just rename file, and you can select from flow. You'll have to parse down through that file data to get to file name as a string.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you know that. But I'm testing it on my end, and it looks like it's working.
Okay.
Boom. I think I got it. So you could use, haha. Yep, you could use that step. I think the problem is if you're using this thing and you say merge it as HTML, what I presume is what's happening is because I showed you the document and it just showed, right, it just shows this,
Right.
which just,
Right.
so I think it's adding like P tags to this that you just can't see, and that's why it's not formatting it.
Right.
So on this part, if you do use this route, make sure you set this to plain, and then you select from flow if you want to use this step. Add it to
Okay.
the
And
result.
then okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Let me see that document once you.
Yeah. So
Right.
then, absolutely. Let me download one more time. So then what it looks like is here is my, why does my preferences? That's so messed up. Hold on. Options. Display. It's so. There we go. Wow. There we go. So now just the first heading, my first
Okay.
paragraph.
Yeah, that should work. So
Awesome. Cool.
I guess that'll probably prevent me from having to rename the file because apparently the step I'm using doesn't allow me to
Yeah.
manipulate the name, which that doc step that you got does.
Yep. Because you have access to all the input mapping. So you can just merge plain text, whatever you want it to be.
Right.
I think the thing to take away is just make sure to add the file extension of what you want the file is. Because if you
Right.
don't,
Right.
what happens is now it's just this weird, like,
Right.
unknown file that you can't really open. It would just be like, what do you want to open it with?
Right. That's
So,
really cool.
yeah,
I will try that. Cool.
awesome. All right. Let's see. Daryl said, ooh, I got some new Word documents now. Let's see. Daryl tested the last case and it worked as expected. Okay, I wonder if it's a low. Is it it's 1,000 records, right, Daryl? Is there any way? Here's what I'm thinking. Is there? Have we set the settings? The recursion limits is not 20,000. It's higher. I don't think it would apply here, but is it for okay? Yeah.
Hear
We
me
could.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I did the recursion limit, set it to 40, ran that last record, worked as expected. So it seems like when it's going through, I think it's like 960 records, it's
Hmm.
almost like timing out or just erroring on the last record for some reason.
Sure. Yeah. We could submit a support ticket for you, and we can so a technician can reach out to you because it sounds like it is something with the flow setup. Or maybe there might be a better way to design it. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I saw an email over to support just now with an export
okay,
of flow, so they should
sweet,
get back that.
awesome. Okay, cool.
All
Do you
right,
happen to have
thanks.
the support ticket with you?
The email they send back, let's just see. I just
Yeah.
sent it over, so they probably haven't sent it back yet.
Sure. Okay. No
Yeah, I
worries.
haven't sent it back just yet.
Okay. No worries. I was just gonna see if I could be like, hey, needs help.
That'd be great. Like, hey, Joe needs help.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna think about doing. But we'll wait till if it does come in, just send it to me.
Sure.
Right. Cool. Any other questions does anyone else have?
If no one has any questions, I got a comment.
You got one?
Got a comment.
Sure, go right ahead.
I just wanted to say, I know you guys, I don't know if you guys hear this enough, but I'm really finding this product is very nice. I'm literally in meetings where they're saying, hey, we want, this is working pretty much as expected, but I wanted to do this a little different or that a little different. I'm literally able to, in these meetings, do what we're doing right here, change the flow, run it, and they get the exact output that, there's no downtime. They
Yep.
can request a change in a meeting and they can test it in that meeting immediately. There's no going back and coding, like it used to be. So the more I use this product, the better. I mean, I'm really liking the way that it works.
No, I appreciate it. I'll share that with the people internally. I know they love to hear that, and thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and end this lunch and learn so we can get that mixed and we can have it up on YouTube. So thank you so much for attending. Tomorrow is Robert, who will be leading tomorrow's stand-up. And also don't forget about our awesome kind of locations for our decision support channel. We post new content I think it's like Friday, about 2 videos a week. And then also our solutions marketplace, which has applications that you could download to see how we build certain things. So. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys. Let's see, wait a minute. Yep, I'll see you guys next time.